That was one of the.
So I remember talking about that too.
One of the fire started to deal with and they had a fire department, like.
No, you don't.
Fire that's still.
Yeah, you probably couldn't.
So they were trying to keep it still fire.
I'm not sure.
Fire department, I always said that it was too late. All the men were holding her, you were killed and burned up.
Yeah, we have to find that out.
I sent all that stuff in for that banner, and I need to, I'll call them tomorrow. That's all I got on my, all the good stuff. So.
I've been working very long.
Have you actually found?
I know, I just don't know where it's coming from.
Meeting minutes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've never used the website. I have like 4.6. And I messaged
Yeah, I remember showing her at the fire department. Then you have to mark it, they told where they go to the work.
so that falls through.
Well, I called that lady yesterday and I asked her, I said, I'm sending this stuff over, and I said, I just need an email address to send this to you. And she said, let me email you, and we'll just send it back. And you know what she said, and just, she said, I can send it back, just call me. So I said, those rents up there sitting over there, I'm like, oh my God.
What's going on?
Like I said, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here and I see those vents over there, I just need to go there.
Just get it back.
So, you know, the lights still
They had, you had 8 boxes, and she was able to get 5 of them, and then she couldn't find that, that's all they had. So she went to the one in Greenville today, but they didn't have any. So she said, let me go back over. Well, you can, and I said, let me just go back over here to, she said, let me just go back over here to Commerce. She said, because I'm sure they're gonna have a good start.
You want to keep this copy or just keep it up there?
Well, you might want to say something, maybe next week.
I'm sure I can.
well, I just found out about that today. Get all that.
Yeah, so I thought, well, that's all good, it's gonna cost something.
Yeah, because I mean, they did it last year, so I'm trying to see if they want to come through.
Last time I didn't go to Costco, I just went to Walmart now.
We have a budget for the last.
Yeah, well, we had a lot over from the, National Night Out too.
And then we need to figure out how we're gonna do it. Last year,
What did y'all do last year?
I saw that.
Need one, but okay.
and hot. And it did taste good. Yeah, I started, but.
We did the coffee thing over there, it's like a day old coffee, it's like this big around. That's what we did, and then, you know, we just kept the coffee maker. And there, I mean, it had water in it.
And me and Hannah compromised.
Robert,
I had no other thing before, no one messed with it. So basically.
Just want to give y'all fair notice. I've got it muted right now. Just cameras have really good microphones, so whatever you guys talk about here.
Okay.
We're gonna move to the back of the room in that corner over there, this is not a safe from,
So I said, okay, we'll do it 6 times. That's what I did. And I said, okay, that's all right. And I put a big list of rules and regulations. Had a credit card, non-internet pay that day.
Yes.
Yeah. No reminders.
Oh, okay.
What else?
Oh.
You can actually pick your spot. They will call you once you get a payment, and you can pick the spot, and then you move that spot. You can double it around. If it's what, that's not cool. It's like,
it rained, it was like a monsoon.
well, he really was playing for my teaching. So I said, well,
Yeah, it's hot room.
Yeah.
I said, well, we I know, I'm concentrating using my family, so I'm like, I love this cheap.
I like how you handle
Yep.
Yeah, and all they did was cut their hand, didn't get the house, and they made a lot of money, so I'm like, what did they make?
Never know where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. What's up? All the pictures,
It's good. Really good. I know. I don't know what. I don't know when last time I was out here, but probably would have won. Yeah, I know, right? That's a good thing. It's rocking and rolling.
They build everything around you.
There's too many people.
Yeah.
I do not, would love to do that. I would love to. They got this new thing.
We're all sitting down.
Oh, no, I'm playing out. I'm all in there. I'm playing.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'll probably get them every day.
I'm quite right with you.
Yeah, like the same.
I know about this Riverside thing.
I know, that's what we're gonna
I'm not a big fan of them right now.
They're home.
I saw everybody. Everybody, just whenever I go after them, I'll send
We just wanna hear if the couple will be Catholic church.
Yeah.
We've been hammered. Yeah.
Over here, right where you come in, if you didn't get an agenda, there's some agendas over here.
Yeah, I'll take one.
All right, everyone, we're gonna get started here. Welcome to the Lone Oak City Council meeting. Well, Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. At 7:02, we're gonna call this meeting to order. First, we're gonna have a roll call certification of the quorum. Christine? Sandra?
Here.
Wes?
Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Next thing we'll have is invocation followed by a pledge of allegiance. Sandra, would you mind leading us in the invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening that we can get together and join together as a community. Help us as a government body to make the right decisions that we need to make this city a better place to live, a better county to be in. Help us protect us going home, make sure that we're safe and that we stay out of harm's way. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, if everybody will stand for the pledge of allegiance.
The United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the list is a message for the mayor. Today we had the city council, myself, the planning and zoning, the EDC, and the board, education board, Roanoke Education Board, go over to Kim's. They are opening it up tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So we have to go by and take a look at what they have to offer, and I think everybody in town is going to be really pleased. This is really a nice place. That's all I have right now. So we'll move on to the next item, which is 5. Public comments. The city council invites the public to address the council on any matter, except for public hearings. Comments related to public hearings will be heard when the specific hearing begins. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the council is not permitted to act on or discuss any item not listed on the agenda. The council may, 1, make a statement of fact regarding the item, 2, make a recitation of existing policy, or 3, propose the item be placed on a further future agenda in accordance with the council procedures. There is a 3-minute time limit for each speaker unless the speaker requires the assistance of a translator, in which case the speaker is limited to 6 minutes in accordance with the applicable law. Prior to the meeting, persons wishing to address the city council must complete the speaker form and present it to the city secretary prior to the meeting. When called upon, state his or her name and street address for the record. Speaking for an organization or other group, identify the group represented. All remarks are to be addressed to the city council as a whole and not to individual members. The presiding officer shall determine whether or in what manner any response will be provided. Right now I have Julie Kramer, is that correct?
Yes.
You may come up to the podium. Where can you see that's on?
This is about one of your specific items on the agenda. This is a good time to talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I've been in touch with the city quite a bit since we lived here in 2021 over our road that's deteriorating so badly that there's no way you get on the road without falling into a hole. And we've been in touch with Riverside, and it's been months and months and months that I have talked to them, and several of my neighbors have talked to them, and finally, they have said that they definitely will give $25,000 towards the road, but that they were sending you a letter to ask if they fix the road, would you, they'll have to get a loan to do it, would you pay them back out of our taxes, however long it takes to, put that loan to rest. And we're desperate. We can't, every time it rains, the road just dissolves, and the curbs are all broken down. So we ask you to really think about this letter. Apparently you've gotten that because we're on the agenda. I assume that's true. And, any way you can help make this happen, we appreciate it.
Thank you. going to move on to item 6. Item 6 is an executive session pursuant to the following designated sections of Texas Government Code annotated, subchapter 551. The City Council will enter into executive session to discuss the following items. A, Section 551.074, personnel matters to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee regarding stealing 4G. Now, we'll ask it all, if y'all would. Tell you what, y'all stay here.
Yeah, y'all go. Out the number. Guys, during executive session, so they have to go to some private.
So that I can put it away, because I took it all this year. If I didn't have to,
I could have got it. When he slows down, it's nice.
Happy to be. Oh, he's our baby. She's 2 hours old. Yeah.
we call my little one baby sister. Yeah.
Hey, it works. I've done it before. It's like they just disappear to a black hole. Yeah.
Oh, did you put it in my name? Okay. You can't share with you.
I can't read. I don't know.
That's that far out. I've done that. I've been here waiting 28 and they're like, oh, fire department, yeah, I've ordered one. That's all I know from the very first one. They're actually on the game.
Yeah, that's what the first lady said. She said, "Let it not until we're talking." It's not fair. Yeah, and
My experience with number of things sound no thank you. Not is he sterile? Was he due to somebody telling you know that bull sale?
what are you doing? I know. What happened? What are they wearing to the wedding? I'll be surprised. A white little games. Did you get your other one? Well, you still got I knew you did. Well, I lost even more. I lost 5 pounds last week. I'm at 9. I lost 9. Now, I can do it in your face. I don't want to start looking at you. No, and you don't want it. Because you're not young. I know. They know you're not young. I just saw that. This is the truth. I lost 250 pounds. Oh, really? Everything I had I was perfect, but you got lots of hormones when you're 25. But you don't have that. I'm very my daughter is, she's at Thanksgiving. She turned into
Hey, girl, I need to buy some tickets. My wallet's out in the car though. Hey, we can come by the machine. I work Thursday. Charlie said she'll be there tomorrow. Whenever, just whenever. I'm going to Dallas. It's okay. Go
No, it's not. He sold it.
Yeah, he told me.
No.
All right, I have 7:16. We're going to reconvene from the executive session. A, consider any action necessary as a result of each item listed in the executive session, including Stephen Forgy.
I make a motion, we appoint Stephen to the open city council.
I'll second.
All in favor? Votes unanimous. So item number 8 is we're going to swear in a new council member, Stephen Forgy. So please stand up here. We'll do this.
Remember, you volunteered.
All right, Stephen, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Stephen Forgy.
I, Stephen Forty,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Alderman, Place 4
of the office of Alderman, Place 4
of the state of Texas, and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Congratulations. All right. Raise your hand again. I, Stephen Forgy. Do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contribute, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for giving or withholding a vote at the election at which I was elected or appointed, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation. Whichever the case may be, so help me God.
Oh, there you go. A round of applause to Steve.
All right, we're going to move to item 9, consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the council and be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. All items refer to the month of July, October, sorry. So we have A, approval of minutes for the regular meeting on October 10th, 2023. B, approval of minutes for the special meeting on November 7th, 2023. C, consider an act regarding general funds financials. D, consider an act regarding general fund profit and loss budget versus actual. E, consider an act regarding general fund unpaid invoices. F, consider an act regarding public works financials. G, consider an act regarding public works profit and loss budget versus actual. H, consider an act regarding public work unpaid invoices. And finally, I, consider an act regarding municipal court financials.
Make a motion that we accept items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I.
A second.
Okay, we got a motion by Christine, seconded by Wes. All in favor? Okay, so all items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I have been approved. Item 10, department and committee reports. First up is Public Works, Corey Miller.
I ain't got a whole lot on here, I can make it pretty quick. We got our excavator in. You know, we ordered a mini excavator. Usually when you order a piece of equipment, it takes months. This one came in pretty quick, so that was a good sign. I'm sure as most of y'all know Josh left. You remember Josh or not, but he had left, and we had hired a new guy in. His name's, he goes by a couple of names, but Noah's who he actually goes by. He seems to be working out. We put him to the test the last couple of days. Fortunately. Other than that, everything's starting to get back to busy, and then here's the holidays, so.
Is he still here?
He's still here, even though he had to go swimming yesterday. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's what it is, you know. Oh, yeah, no, he's that deep. He's still with us, right, you know. They worked out, I think he's pretty good hand so far.
I think we swapped with Point. I think Josh
pretty much.
Point and he came in.
Yeah, he left, went somewhere else, but
Yeah.
in a roundabout way, yeah, they just switched places.
Is he local?
He lives in Point, but he's actually from here in Longwood. So, he's fairly young, so, you know, he's got a lot to learn, and
He'll be 21 in next month, I think.
yeah, something.
So that's why he went swimming.
Yeah. He's already ahead of the game. He's already got a little bit of a license, and he seems to be picking it up pretty fast. So
That's great.
it's gonna work out really good for us. Other than that, I know you probably don't have this report, I guess. Just normal, everyday stuff. Sewer repairs and stuff like that. With just two of us here for a little while. Trying to get everything back to, you know, what Josh's duties were spread out between. So we're getting there. But other than that, y'all got any questions on the report? Good.
Thanks.
Thank you, Corey. All right, we got,
Hey, that's me.
I think he knows who's up. It's, economic development. Wes, you're up.
We didn't have a meeting last month or the month before, this month or the month before. I'm looking for volunteers. Anybody? I got a seat that's open and a couple of guys that would quit if we had somebody to take their place. Kenny Lovett, y'all know Kenny Lovett? He's driving a bus from Diamond Rio, so he can't be at our meeting. Sucks to be him.
When do y'all meet?
The first Wednesday of the month, and you only have to live within 10 miles of the city. So you can live in Hopkins County and still be on our board.
What position?
Just the EDC board. We'd love a president so I could quit. But, the EDC's got about $100,000 that we've saved over the last couple of years. The board decided a couple of years ago when we started working on chems to kind of save our money. So we've accumulated quite a bit, so we can actually start doing some stuff. Over the last couple of months, you hopefully have noticed that the welcome signs are finished. Now we need to paint the fence around them. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking we might ask to have the same guy do that. Cody Blanton is local, he does a pretty good job. Our next thing to do is start kind of whatever we can do after Kim's opens. They're gonna open tomorrow at 10 a.m. like Doug said. I talked to, I think he's like a regional manager, and they're gonna be open in about 6 weeks or so. They'll try to do an actual grand opening, we're gonna be calling it. To do an actual grand opening ceremony. What else? Anything else? I think that's it. I haven't even had a chance to go look at the finances. So apparently I'm the president and the treasurer until we can get somebody else to come in and be a part of it. I'm such a sucker.
All right,
Any
thanks, Wes.
Yeah.
Any questions? No questions? All right, so we're gonna move on to special events. Jessica?
So we had Oak Tree Festival a couple of weeks ago, almost got rained out, but I think we had, well, everyone still kind of turned up. We had about half of what we expected, but it was still pretty good. Raffle did good, we had our concession stand open finally, I think Susie probably got final numbers on what all that brought in. And so, yeah, now we're working on Christmas in the next couple of weeks, and, one of the things,
The next thing is Saturday.
Saturday.
That's not a city event though.
Sort of. It's in the city.
When
So the car show? Okay, I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so.
There's a cars and coffee, we're putting it on. The city's not really putting it on. I asked Jessica to make a flyer so we can post it. Cars and coffee at Sacred Grounds Saturday. If you wanna try to get an award, be there at 6:30. I'm not getting there at 6:30. But I'll come drink coffee.
Who's doing it?
Justin. No, it's just Justin and me and Bill and Bert. And if we can get, 8 or 10 people to come out, kind of build on it. Because Cars and Coffee is really having a good month. They do one in Greenville at the church as you come into town. They do one there, I think. Saturday or something.
Or do you want to do this every night?
Heck yeah, if I can get 50 people going in the first.
Yeah.
Third Saturday of the month, that'd be awesome.
Okay. You can put it on your seat.
And get sales tax, and we get money, win-win.
Okay, I'll report on that. So anyways, we've had a couple of people asking if we're doing the decorating contest again this year. And I know that every year there's been some reason or another, how it could work better. And so I think that me and Mina are kind of thinking along the lines, we'll still do it, but instead of doing like big grand prizes, you can just kind of do bragging rights. You get a sign, you won first place. Still do, the voting the way that we did last year worked out well. That way we can still kind of have that tradition going and just not have to worry about that lump sum that, But, other than that.
The parade?
Oh, yeah, the parade. We are gonna still do the parade. I've already got clearance from Janae that it's okay to use the parking lot. So,
What's the date of that?
the 9th, December 9th, and then after we're gonna do Cookies with Santa again. Can't use the Civic Center because I'm being told that it's used for voting, so we're gonna do it out in the pavilion. And hope that the weather holds out for us there too.
Voting's over at 7.
What time is the parade?
6.
Have to see when they pick the machines up.
Yeah.
Because nobody.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
because they're gonna be out of here till midnight.
So we're gonna try to like put lights in the
Okay,
trees.
we kinda don't-
Yeah, we're gonna put lights in the trees out there, kind of dress it up really cute, pull out some of the trees that are in storage and see what we can, make the best of it and hope the rain holds out. I think we're gonna do maybe a handful of vendors. I'm not gonna go big on it, just because, we had some new vendors at Oak Tree Festival. It was just a lot to kind of try to put together. On short notice, so.
What time is that on the night?
6.
I have a website for you.
You got the Santa?
We do Terry Triggers and his wife, and they're bringing a sleigh this time too. Awesome. So we're gonna have a real sleigh decorated and everything.
I have a website for you.
Okay.
I got it.
couple people are starting a company to advertise events and help with arrangements. Northeast Texas Events.
Yeah.
Have you seen it before? Okay. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Cost,
We got a couple of vendor sites that we post on,
Okay.
on Facebook too as well. We got a lot of followers on Facebook.
One other thing that, we needed kind of confirmation on is next year, we're kind of trying to get a calendar out to book our axe throwing guy, they wanna come back, 4th of July. The ordinance is the Saturday before the 4th, correct?
Closest Saturday.
Well, okay, so
That's the 29th.
the 29th or July 6th.
July 6th is closest to the 4th, right?
That's after the holidays.
That's after so.
You might have a good turnout if it's
I like to ask Mary Hunt when the 4th of July is. Make sure hair turns red.
I might ask her next time I see her, just to.
Okay, yeah, follow that.
I just wanted to say that the Oak Tree Fest went really well. My family enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I did a good job. All right, board departments, you should have your reports in your packet. Any questions on that? All right, and last but not least, police department. Joe?
This last month, we had a mediocre month. We had some changes in the police department. I'll go with that in a minute. We had 2 arrests in October, which brings our total for 18 for the year so far. We had no crash reports to do last month. One incident report, one offense report. We had 25 calls, 102 citations, 88 warnings. No criminal trespass, 1 supplement report done, and 8 impounds. No insurance. I think one of them was for arrest. It was so because they went to jail. Any questions on that part? A couple of things just to kind of go over. The new car, they're starting Monday to do the outfit on it. They should, according to them, they should be done by Friday. And, all we gotta do is get the decals for it. And, I'll call sometime this week, try to set that up for the following week. The body cameras, I have all the equipment. I had a Zoom meeting the other day with the tech support through, Motorola. The 29th, there's a company out of Arizona. We're gonna have another Zoom meeting. They're gonna go over all the iCloud, and we'll be online. That by the time we get done, we'll be online. I'll have everything installed, ready to go for us to go online that afternoon on the 29th. So we're good on that. If I didn't know, Paul Robinson resigned. He went to Pottsboro. And then got with the mayor, and as far as my decision is not to hire another person in that position for a while, so we can balance out some budget stuff and so forth. So that'll help that out, help the city out and so forth. The turkey drag car show out at Glen Point Park is December 1st to the 3rd, and like always, we always do the security for them out there. So we balance that between our schedules here and there, and our department handles that, and I do hire, I'm in charge of the security, but they hire their money outside of some of the spots that you can't, there's no possible way you can do it every shift with just 3 officers. So.
How many reserves do you have there?
Ma'am?
How many reserves do you have now that?
I have, I'm down to 2 reserves. Westbrook, had to go on a, suspension for his license through Chico. I backed him 100%. I don't think he was at fault, but Chico thinks he did. I think the school board over in Commerce is at fault, not him, but ultimately he paid a price for a 90-day suspension of his license. So I had to, discharge him, and I told him he could reapply after 90 days. So, to be reversed. So, that's all I had, unless I have something.
Thank you, Chief. All right, well, now we'll move on to items for individual consideration. Item 11, discuss and consider approval of joining the Lake Towanda Regional Chamber of Commerce.
I asked to have this on the agenda. I don't even remember what it's gonna cost us. We had the two girls who work in the office come over here to Lone Oaks, right after Halloween, and we went to Sacred Grounds, and Bert's gonna join, and then we went and talked to Steve, and Steve's gonna join, and we went to the school, and the school's gonna join. I joined as a person, because you can do that. And we are members of the Greenville Chamber of Commerce. You joined? So let me back up a minute. So when we went to Bert's, first we came in here. Susie brought them over here, and when Dina Sweeney, she grew up in Quinlan, and she's got nieces and stuff go to school over here. But when she came into this room, she started getting really giddy because all the things that she could picture she could do in this room. So even though they're a kind of Quinlan focused now, Quinlan and West Waukene focused now, they are really excited to come over here and do things here. When we went over to Bert's, Tammy got a cup of coffee, and we went into Bert's boardroom and sat down, and they did their pitch. Tammy took a picture of the cup of coffee and posted it on Facebook. And before we got to Steve's, the folks at La Pommy wanted to know when we were coming over there. So I think they came Monday or Tuesday, or Monday. Maybe it was last week. I don't know. I think it was last week. Anyway, they made the rounds over here again and got some more people to join. We are currently, both the EDC and the city are members of the Greenville Chamber. The Greenville Chamber, when we joined it, I don't know, however many years ago, the person that was running it at that point was trying to make it more of a regional, like a Hunt County thing. They have reined it back in, and it is really focusing on Greenville. They will take us as a member, but for them to come out here and do an event is, it's going to take a lot to get them to do it. But to Waukene, it's not as much money to join, and they would be happy to come over here and do one of their events. I went to their Haunted Casino Night fundraiser. At the board meeting before that fundraiser, there was a comment made about having to pay for the building. They do it at the American National Bank in Quinlan. And I said, well, if money is a concern, I know where there's a place where we can do it that won't cost us nothing. Well, they decided that they could go ahead and do it over there, and that $100 wasn't that big a deal. But I don't think it would be too hard to get them to come over here and do that kind of stuff here. And it's it's a fun event. We dressed up, me and my wife were flashers. We had on t-shirts and shorts, and then we had on raincoats. So it was, we had one set of Monster teeth. We had a great time.
Y'all shared that?
You'll share the monster.
Yeah, yeah. You share it. I think I had the upper and she had the low out of it. But it was a lot of fun. We could do that here, and everyone's invited. It's you pay a little bit when you come in, and you get some chips. They had a group come in that had the tables, and you play. I can't play Texas Hold'em. I'm not smart enough. But they had a blackjack, and they had a dice table, and the roulette. It was a great event. So we could have them do that here. I think Thursday is an iHeart. It's their end of year kind of recognition thing. They're doing it at the church, one of the churches in Clinton. We could have that here. But again, it's, everybody's invited.
Just like Maine was, we joined.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by the fact that they've got a list of items that they do in terms of what levels. Levels is probably not the right word, but there are lots of choices in terms of what you pay for and then what you get, and they've got it all mapped out.
Yeah.
And it's been said that the enthusiasm out of East Waukene is tangible versus the who are you again at the Greenville area. So I was impressed. So we joined at Stampede.
They are very. Dina and Tammy they feed off one another. If you follow them on Facebook, they're doing TikTok things. They're advertising for business. One of the things that they do, Doug, you're gonna love this. They go to a business. I forget what they call it. Something about Lake Tawakoni, Voices of Lake Tawakoni or something like that. They go into a business. They interview the business owner. They want to get involved. They want Steve to help them make a pizza.
Kind of like dirty jobs.
Like dirty jobs is what she said. So they're going to come in and they're going to talk to Doug, interview him. They're going to follow him around and see what he does during the day. Karen, and that's, part of what they bring to us. I think it'd be really good for us to join it.
All right. Any other?
The Greenville Chamber is useful to us because they have 700 members. They have a big voice in Austin. They put all of that together. If the Lake Tawakoni Chamber gets involved and starts to do that stuff, then we can pick and choose. But right now, I think for the city, it would be really good to be a member. Okay. That's okay. And as a board member of that, I don't think I can make a motion to join it.
I make a motion with the Lake Tawakoni Chamber of Commerce.
What's the cost of joining?
I don't know, because I don't know if we're going to be a nonprofit or if we're going to be a regular business. So for regular business, it's what,
There's different things you could add on, some of which I don't think the city would want to take advantage of, and some of them I do. The other question that I feel like we can ask them is, all right, we clearly have a wonderful facility that got Dana Giddy. While we don't necessarily, the whole idea is save them money, help us, whatever. But I mean, if there was some kind of, agreement where, if we had 2 or 3 events here through the course of the year, is that worth $50 off our membership for the year, right? Maybe not the full price of paying somewhere else, because then what's the difference, right? But if we did something less and worked that out, maybe that's a question we could ask. Because I am excited about what they have to offer.
I can answer.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I'm an ambassador with the Greenville Chamber, and I'm also a member of the Lake Tawakoni Regional Chamber. And so typically what happens when we have a city, and just so you know, Greenville is still regional, we still do, we just got over 150 members in around Emory network. So
I was there.
Super proud of that. So, but when it comes to things like that, it would be like more of a sponsorship. So y'all would be the city of Lone Oak would be a sponsor for that specific event.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
I think nonprofits, it's like $100 or something, $150, and then if you're a business, if they consider us to be a business, it's like $250 or something. Greenville, to join Greenville at the lowest level is $300. But like walking is a little bit less. But they have the different tiers, but the stuff that's in the tiers, they don't really follow that, is what Dina told everybody. I can't remember what she told the school.
I can ask her, you know.
All right, so we have a motion on the table. That sounds good.
I'm trying to find out what the cost is, but she's not responding.
Either way, it's good to be involved in joining it. It's not gonna be that big of a financial burden, and it's gonna put a little notoriety to Lono, get us out there. Anyone second?
So I have a motion, we have a second. Okay, so Christine seconds, all in favor? Okay, so it's unanimous. Okay, so we passed that we're gonna join the Lake Tawakoni Regional Chamber of Commerce. Item 12. Discuss and possibly act on roads for Buffalo Mesa.
All right. Because I was here when this started, whenever that was. So I had a couple conversations with Clint. I got him to agree that Riverside is responsible for 60%. Let me back up. When Riverside started, they had intended to buy all the lots that were left and build all the houses. That was their intent. Instead of buying them all up in one action, they bought 4 or 5 and then built houses, and then they bought 4 or 5 more and built. And when they did that, it allowed another developer to come in and buy 5, some number. So when they started, and you can see this in how they did, because they went up to one side and then came back down the other side. When they started, they kind of had the idea they would fix the road when they were finished. So the houses on the east side of the street, when they cut the curb to put the driveway in, they didn't fix it. They just kind of cut the curb and left it. The other developer, when they cut the curb and then put asphalt down and kind of fixed it like you would see in any other city. When the issue started, we went to Riverside and said, y'all need to fix it. Well, they came back and said, well, we're not the only one. So my plan was to get Riverside and the other developer and the guy who actually owns the street, we think, into a room and have them all agree to pay something to get the road fixed. Riverside's the only one that showed up. The other builder said to contact them through their attorney. They wouldn't return phone calls or emails or anything. Mr. Yu, we don't know what happened to him. He didn't return phone calls, didn't return emails, didn't return letters or anything. He commented, though, that he had turned that road over to the city in about 2004 or 5, something like that. But the city secretary at the time found in meeting minutes that the city council had rejected that. We didn't take that road back because it wasn't what we wanted it to be when he tried to give it to us. What my hope is that I could get those guys in the room and we could come up with a number. And I got Clint to agree that they were responsible for 60%, and that's where that $25,000 comes from that he gave, because we had an estimated cost to repair the road of $35,000 to $40,000, and so he came up with 25. So where we are today is the city still doesn't own the road. Now we have, that's why he's here. we can take that road, but it's gonna require the property owners to do a little bit of research and see where y'all's property line goes. Normally, it goes to the middle of the road.
No.
Normally, it goes to the middle of the road, but that needs to be verified. If y'all's property line does go to the middle of the road, then all the property owners would need to deed us the road so that we can take the ownership of it. If their property line doesn't go to the middle of the road, then we
Probably
need,
the original developer continues to own it.
right. So the concern that we have as a council is we're starting to see more development. Some of it's gonna be in the city, a lot more of it's gonna be outside the city. We're hoping that they will request to be annexed. If we take this road as it stands today, then we kind of set a precedent that the next developer that comes in, they can sort of halfway build a road, and then we'll take it over because that's what we've done. Obviously, we don't want to do that because that puts, they're the ones that are supposed to fix it. Now, we understand y'all's problem and situation, and I think we're wanting to figure out how we can get it fixed. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but we just need to stay the course and figure out what we need to do to get y'all where y'all want to be. If y'all, do a little research, if y'all find out that y'all's property line goes to the middle of the street, then all we gotta do is.
Yeah, we done the research, it doesn't.
It doesn't go to Center Street.
That's why I just said earlier, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't, and I've actually been talking to the CEO of Riverside.
Okay.
And back and forth emails, just wanting them to come out and put rock in the road because it's a safety concern. There's, it's washed out some parts right next to the curb where rebar is showing, where it should be connected to the asphalt. And that's Halloween with kids walking up and down that street.
And our grandson fell in one of the holes in the street.
It's an unsafe situation. And it's like, Riverside saying they're delaying. The city said they won't do anything because it's liability. But it's like, what's right for the residents of the street? Because it's a safety concern. It's not just a driving concern. So, to me, it's we live in the city of Lona. We want the city council to represent us. Stand up for us and say, hey, you need to do the right thing. These people live in our city. Y'all need to represent us. And it seems like everything's getting pushed back on us as the buyers. They just walked in the room buying a house, and all of a sudden, oh, it's your fault. You need to go take care of it. And it's like, where?
We know it's not y'all's fault.
Well, I know, but
we know
it's
it's fault.
It just feels like it was the first meeting we had, was like, y'all need to do this, y'all need to pay this money out, y'all need to figure this out.
Yeah.
So let me read y'all the email that I got on November 7th. Dear Mayor Pro Tem Wes Owen, that's me. As you are aware, the homeowners in the subdivision are dealing with road issues that need to be addressed. They have reached out to us several times for help in getting this resolved. We initially offered to contribute $25,000 towards repairing the road to get to city acceptance. Along with this contribution, they are now offering to front the cost of rebuilding the road if the city and county would enter into an agreement to pay Riverside home builders back out of the taxes that they collect. The city collects a little over $30,000 and the county collects a little over $29,000 yearly on taxes from the residents of your street. The Riverside home builders would take that agreement and borrow the money from a local bank and then pay the bank back with the money from the city and the county. If I can get back $30,000 a year, that would work for us. We would need to be paid back along with the interest the bank would charge for the loan. I've attached a quote we received to redo the road. I can either do it in TERS, which is a tax increment reinvestment zone, or a 380 agreement. My response to Clint hello Clint, I will pass this along to the city council and have this on our next agenda. They were invited to be here tonight, by the way, to discuss an action. We need to confirm the numbers quoted by the homeowners. Additionally, we need to confirm with our attorney that we can make such an agreement. As we have discussed a few times, the city is willing to help. However, we have to be careful that we don't set a precedent by taking over a street that is actually owned by a developer. If you recall, you and I had come to some level of agreement, but we could never get the other parties involved to come to the table to discuss an equitable solution. It is worth mentioning that the city's had the area evaluated by our engineering firm as to what it would take to fix the issue. I need to revisit with them to see what the recommendation was at the time. Of course, maybe this is just putting down asphalt instead of chip seal, and we'll be in touch.
What was the quote that he gave you?
$119,000.
That's what we thought. Okay.
Yeah, I've actually got a quote myself.
Yeah.
Personally, for a new asphalt was 120, and for just hot patching the holes in the road was like 10 grand.
Yeah. Kara also responded back. I responded on the 7th. Kara responded on the 7th as well to invite them to the agenda, to the council meeting, and we got a response today saying he was out of town.
They came 2 years ago when we first met.
Yeah. Because I met with him in here and over there, and we met.
And then we've done some research, and I want you to verify, we understood that Mr. Yu sold that to somebody else. He doesn't even own the road anymore. We've tried to contact him too.
Yeah.
And will you remember who it is? Do we know?
No, I went to Greenville to the title company, and they showed me the plat, for our area, and the lady I talked to said that she thought it had been sold by him. Actually, he had a partner, and his partner gave that sold it to you.
Yeah.
But, she said that they had been in a sale, but she couldn't find the information, and I too have tried to contact Mr. Yu with no success.
Right.
Could I ask, and you may not recall, but when you went to the Greenville Title Company and you saw that initial sale, was there a year, date, stamp, like, did you remember seeing a year?
I believe I've got that. I've got all the paperwork they gave me at home.
Because I'm trying to figure out what the Greenville Title Company has in terms of what year that may have been sold. His partner sold his half to Mr. Yu, and how that references the 2005 Mr. Yu attempting to hand this road over to the city. I'd like to see where that timeline fell.
If I remember right, they started, Charlie Brookings is the one that approached the city about doing that development. It was like 2004 or something like that.
There's a home out there that was built then.
Yeah.
And it was called 1571. It wasn't even built on Mason, because I don't know, but the people that are.
And then I don't know, I know Charlie Brookings, Mr. Yu took it over. I don't know what agreements they had. And then everything we have is dated from 2019, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. I just now become aware of this. How did something like this happen? It sure seems unusual. There's a development and the house belong to homeowners and the street belongs to we don't know who. This seems very unusual, and it also seems like going forward to avoid this in the future, that anytime you're approving a plat or a development like this, that we hold it, get, and the attorney can speak to this, if it's even feasible, get a performance bond out of them, that we hold until everything's satisfactory, and it's in the agreement or whatever the paperwork is, that at a certain point in time, the city takes possession. So how do we avoid this in the future? And is this not unusual?
It is a little bit unusual but one of the things that happened when this development was put in, obviously those guys expected it to sell out fairly quickly. And the house, I think that was built, they built it to try to get things started.
So how long do they plan on keeping the streets?
Well, normally in a development like that, what will happen is the developer comes, just like you say, the developer comes in, they build the houses, they sell the houses, and then they hope that the government entity, whether it's a city or county, will take that street over in like a year or 2 years. But it was, I mean, that thing sat out there for a long time with nothing going
So
on.
what's the agreement now?
We don't have one.
Well, and this is my opinion, I would say the city join forces with the homeowners, and sue these people to get the streets straightened out.
We do that?
Well, and if you can check with whoever the insurance holder is on that contractor, like you were talking about the performance bond, that ensures that the developer takes care of it. If they had insurance. I mean, but the contractor has insurance.
They seem like there's a joint interest here. One is to get the roads fixed, and then also to get it properly.
Because it's a lawsuit.
Ownership assigned correctly.
But you also have two different developers.
No, you have
So
more than
what?
that. You have more, there's about 5 different
So,
buildings.
you have all these different developers, so who, it would be a thing of who's truly.
What's that, what's that,
It'll
what's
get
that
their
thing, joint
attention,
being several,
someone will
you know?
Yeah.
Just collectively sue them all. It sure doesn't seem right that it falls on them, and right now the city's not even in a position where they could go in and fix it. If they did, and something went wrong, then the developers would be suing the city for messing up their road.
Well, and even so, back to the insurance thing, if that developer didn't have it, one of the 5 developer has it, and that's how you can go after them with that performance bond, because they're supposed to ensure the quality of the roads.
Yes, please. Okay, so how this normally works is cities have subdivision regulations. So those regulations speak to platting and to thoroughfares and streets and standards for all of that. And when a developer comes in, they buy the entire tract, not piecemeal, normally. And the developer will normally put in the infrastructure for the water, roads, sewer, and drainage. And then he will plat, have a preliminary plat. And then he will have construction plans that are submitted to the city. Those construction plans are approved by the city, sometimes by the city engineer, and then he goes and builds them. If they are built according to the specs of the city, which this road obviously was not, then this is what Wes was speaking to. If it's built according to specs, then at the very end of the building of that road, they will dedicate it in a plat, which is what you're talking about. A dedication acts like a deed. So it conveys that property, the public street, and any public drainage and rights of way to the city. It's up to the city to then accept it. If the public infrastructure is not built according to the specs, they don't have to accept it. And that's what happened here. So therefore, the street remained private. And that's why you're in this dilemma. That's not normal. It doesn't normally happen that way. And the developers will have contractors that have, under the subdivision regulations, there are different types of bonds that can be required. And so one of them is a performance bond. So if the contractor walks off the job, the city can make a demand on the insurance company for that contractor, and then the insurance company will use a substitute contractor to finish that job at their cost because it's insurance. There's also something called a maintenance bond. So normally, once the roads are built according to the city specs and they're accepted by the city at that time, not until then, when the city owns them, then normally a city will have a 2-year maintenance bond. Anything that goes wrong with that road in that 2-year period, the city can make a claim on that bonding company, not the contractor. The bonding company is supposed to come in and repair the road. That's how it's normally done. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And so what Wes is saying is that the city council minutes, which are proof in court of what happened in the council meeting, that the city refused to accept that road. So I don't know who owns that road right now. If there's a title company that was involved, they can tell you who owns that road. And maybe there is a claim that we can make against them, or at least make a demand. A lawsuit would probably not be cost effective for a Lono. A lawsuit, if you sue 5 entities, I don't know how many are are still in existence. I don't know how many are, have assets or insurance. We find all that out. But you're gonna pay our firm to do that, and respectfully, just the amount of controversy is not great enough probably to justify that cost. If the town paid us $30,000, that money could be going towards the repair of the street instead of to us, and you take the chance on what's gonna happen. I'm not saying it wouldn't work, it might work. But you won't know until you actually do that, and it's probably not a good use of the public funds. We would be happy to do that and explore that, but that's.
So if we go that.
You don't want to chase good money after bad.
If the city goes that route, and city homeowners and it repairs the road, how can we be sure that the city can get ownership of the road?
Well, yeah, so that is the dilemma right now. So the town actually probably shouldn't be putting money into it until they own the road. So then they are fully responsible for maintaining it forever. So I don't know who owns it.
Well,
If you have paperwork from a title company, they should reflect who owns that road. Yeah, and I'd be happy to review that.
Can't you look it up?
We gotta pay.
Yeah, I probably could, but it would take some time. It's not.
Because that's the city sticking up for their residents, and
Yeah.
taking up the
Yeah,
information.
man, I'm happy to do that. It's not. Ownership of roadways is more complex than ownership of a single lot. Right? So if you look on, easy way to look on ownership that's mostly reliable is the appraisal district. They want to send your taxes, and their records are generally accurate. They're not 100%, but they're generally accurate. But they don't necessarily keep track of all the roads.
Yeah.
They don't send anybody a bill for the road. Right? And so that becomes more problematic. Roads, because of the history in Texas, and roads can be done publicly, privately, by private easements and easements that run with the land, and it's a more complicated area as opposed to just on a plat. I know on a plat that's filed in the courthouse, it's dedicated, and once it's dedicated, the city accepted it. It's easy. That didn't happen.
I'm going to go back to what you said a minute ago. You said it'd be better for us not to touch the road until something happens. And the problem with that is, we have, the people running just washouts to where somebody can step in and break their leg.
I know.
And it's not a liability issue.
No, it is a liability issue.
It's something that.
So you're talking about, your children, your grandchildren. It's a liability issue.
Well, I know, but if the city's putting rocks to make sure that, the holes are filled, then the city's doing in the best interest of the residents, and they should be covered, somebody tried to sue them for that, right? It's something that.
That's a problem. That's a problem. So right now, legally speaking, the city does not own the road, so it has whoever owns the road has maintenance responsibility. Whoever has maintenance, there's liability. If there's an accident or a child gets hurt, whoever owns it and is supposed to maintain it is 100% responsible. Because the city doesn't own it, they're actually not liable for it. Somebody else is at this point. It sounds like. So that doesn't mean the council couldn't be citizen friendly, do something that they really legally are not obligated to do, just to help.
That's my only concern, just because, I have brain cells. It's like certain parts of the road where where guys have a washout and there's rebar sticking out, it's like, I drive past it and like, somebody's, liable to, stick their foot in there when they get hurt. And then, since it's not, you kind of the same approach, the city doesn't take the responsibility, the homeowners are like,
I know, it's
I put a rock in it, right?
I know.
And some people have. I've seen people, they fill it up with concrete, and it works for now. But some people just haven't touched it. So it's just this.
Right. So let me give y'all a kind of a quick summary. We actually went out there with our engineer and walked the street. And their recommendation was going to be kind of pricey. They were looking at drainage basically from the backyards to the street, and from the top of the hill down to the bottom of the hill. so where the cul-de-sac is at the top of the hill, that kind of holds water. They were talking about trying to cut the rise off so that the water would drain down the hill, but obviously that could be a problem because now you've got all this water running down the hill, so whatever washout you have now will be even worse. And they were trying to, they were kind of suggesting concrete. Well, concrete would be good, but it's very costly to maintain concrete. You know, you get a nice freeze and now it's all upside down. So I don't know that they ever gave us a price. Not that I recall.
Because right now, it's got, water comes down the road, it kind of moves through, you kind of see the lines in the road.
Yeah.
It crosses the road once and comes back, and then it lands at the ditch, and it's basically cutting the cul-de-sac side, as the water's cutting.
That's why the reflectors, some people don't. That's what we put the reflectors, with the lights on the sign saying, be careful.
Corey said that he recalls that our engineer ballparked the price to be somewhere around $200,000. And that's to fix the drainage from the back, so that everything kind of either fix it so that some of it drains to the back of the property, some of it drains to the front, to the street, and proper curves, maybe putting some kind of a drainage in the center of the road, that kind of thing.
That price is going to increase as time goes on.
Yes, it is.
First, I have a copy of the first estimate, how to fix that road, and how much, it was $75,000.
Says 5 to 8, remember 2 years ago.
Can we get this gentleman right over here?
We live at the top of that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And we get all the drainage off the school property behind.
Yeah, it's
Everything
you have a
comes
lake in
through
the
there,
front yard.
comes through our yard, and then passes between my yard and the neighbor's yard here. And then we got steep property now.
Yeah.
They wouldn't cut it out. And, I mean, it's a river on both sides of my house. Every time I go. Isn't that a riverside issue?
A riverside, a river. It is a riverside. It is a riverside. Exactly.
They did this retaining wall.
And have you addressed that with Riverside and them, the yard part? I mean, not even, because all the yards are the problem too. It's all draining, so all the backyards.
When they were building it, and we were still out there, while we were still friends,
Yes.
And they started cutting that thing out, and they put a big dip in the back of our yard. And we tried to get them to level that out, do something different with it.
And they did, they just went in.
They
And was
asked to be in there.
that particularly Riverside at this point?
Yeah. That got that help.
Yeah, that Riverside was doing that.
19 were built by Riverside, and the others were piece buildings. So, may I ask a question then? So we're up a creek without a paddle? No pun intended.
No, I don't think so, because
What do you
we
think?
want to help, we just
Oh, I
have
know,
to
but what do
figure
you
out
think?
what
do we pursue?
what's the right way to do it.
And also hold them accountable at the same time.
I think what I was gonna ask Andy when we're done is there a way that we could like send, maybe have Karen go and find out who the actual owner is, send them a letter and say, hey, either fix this road or we're gonna fix it and send you a bill.
Yeah.
They're never gonna pay it, but, and then we'll take it from there, but.
Initiate it from the city.
Like I said,
versus from the
it's not gonna, we're not gonna fix it tomorrow, so if it rains tomorrow, we're still gonna have a problem, but we wanna get it done, we just, how do we get there?
Would this be a candidate for eminent domain to take the road?
Could, yeah, I mean, the city has the power of eminent domain, they could do that, it would be,
Is that correct?
that would be fairly simple, not very, time consuming. So, yeah, that, we could own it that way, if that's what you want, if you want to own it.
It doesn't sound like you're gonna get any money out of it.
Well, how is Riverside only accountable for $25,000 of this?
That was their number.
That's why I asked.
That
was original.
That's their number, that's what they're willing to, that's what they said.
Could I, just on that note, am I reading that wrong? They're not even offering 25, they're saying they'll just front it and you're gonna pay us back.
You're gonna.
They're offering zero.
With interest.
They're offering zero at this point. So is there an opportunity, Counselor, to look at the, I mean, I know this sounds like a little bit of a piecemeal, but we gotta start somewhere. If Riverside built X amount of homes, however many there are, and when we went to them and they said, hey, we're not the only ones, fine, we get it, you're not the only ones, but you're the one for these houses. You need to fix, and granted, if the guy at the end of the cul-de-sac isn't a Riverside, I mean, it sounds like you are, but I'm just using it as an example. You're not gonna be happy immediately, but if we started by saying, hey, Riverside, fine. You're gonna fix the road in front of the houses that you built, otherwise, legal action.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm hearing two different things. I'm hearing there's some significant drainage issues and there's a roadway issue. And they may, the drainage may contribute to the roadway. So just, give me some information. Do we know exactly which lots Riverside bought and built? Somebody can put that on a layout of the street and show that.
We knocked on doors. Her husband and I knocked on doors.
And you think it's 70% of the house?
19 of the 30.
Huh?
19 of the 30, so it's almost 2/3. 19 of the 30 homes.
And who are the other, is there other?
Well, there's several. There's Mr. U built
No,
one.
there's 4 others.
There's
J6 is one of them.
Who?
J6 is the one that else.
The man that his son lives out there, and he has 2 rent homes. I think he built. I have to look back and look at my notes. 4 or 5. His son lives in one next to Charlie. Charlie's not Charlie, next to that. And then I have the names.
Yeah.
We knocked on doors and we tried to find out as much as we could the builders.
The two main developers were J6. That was the one I couldn't remember. J6 and Riverside.
And his son lives out there. I think so. John something's out there.
All right,
Anyway, I
so
have their names down.
Here's kind of my thought. Just putting this all together.
Yeah.
And it's not an immediate fix.
Okay.
But if y'all can give me that information, I've got a copy of the plat. You can write down who the builder is on each lot. Let me have that. I can find out the entities, where their corporate headquarters are or whatever. I can, write a demand letter to them, and then if we have to, actually sue them, what I think, if they're reputable companies, they will have insurance. And their insurance company, when they see a claim that's, again, in context, $50,000, $70,000, for an insurance company, that's not significant. And so we might be, especially if there are multiple builders with all of their own separate insurance companies, they could all collectively say, look, I'll put in 25, you put in 10, you put in 50, and collectively you may have $100,000, and it's not that painful overall. So that would be, that's the strategy that I'm hearing that would be the best course of action. Y'all, unfortunately, I don't know how long you've lived out there, but it sounds like a number of years. And you probably have a statute of limitations problem. In other words, if you sued them, they would have a defense. They could be 100% liable, but they're not going to be at fault because you didn't sue them timely, right?
It's 2 years statute of limitations.
Well, it's 2 years statute of limitations for negligence, 4 years for a contract. I don't know how long.
We're still within the 4.
We're within the 4.
Well, and you may look at that and collectively have a lawyer that's in front of yours that can join in with us. But cities don't have a statute of limitations, right? So it doesn't. We don't have that problem. And so that's the way it sounds like to me. We need to assert pressure on them, at least run that trap to see in 60 days, 90 days, where are we, right? And it would be fairly cost effective. At the end of the day, if you want to condemn the property, that's not that expensive. It can be done in about 6 months if you want to own the property. But maybe we ought to just collectively see if we can get all these people to come to a table, at least go to a mediation before a suit or at the beginning of a lawsuit, and work this out so that it's not painful for it, at least not pain for everybody. And come up with a pot of money that can be used to do this. And maybe you can find a contractor that'll do a reputable contractor will do it for less than $100. I don't know. I have no idea.
And a letter from an attorney would be a little more.
Well, it would be
Yeah.
more than a letter. It would be, you're probably gonna have to file a suit. Because they're probably not, they may acknowledge the letter, and they're gonna say, well, you didn't follow your own subdivision. They're gonna point the fingers all different ways. It's these people, not us. That's what they'll do. It's a defensive posture.
Every attorney that we've reached out to says a minimum $10,000. Because
I
there's so
understand.
much legwork involved.
I understand.
But if you do it, it wouldn't be 10,000.
Yeah, for y'all, we would be doing it on behalf of the town.
Isn't that right?
We'd be out of the town on their nickel, but we try to be as effective as we can be, and not get very deep into it. If we got real deep into it, it's not going to be worth their money. It's not going to be worth the town's time.
If we include the drainage though,
That's
changes the dollar
changes,
amount
right.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
So Andy, what info do they need to get to us? Well, they can get it to me and I can give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, so you have the plat document that I gave you, and you can just lay it out. Everybody write down, which lot y'all own and who your builder was, and I can take that back and, verify it.
I did notice when I was doing research on.
And if you have documents, I'm happy to look at your documents.
Did you bring your documents?
I didn't bring it with me, but
They're not with me, but I can bring some.
when I did the research, the transfer deed, warranties, all that kind of stuff, the paperwork that, when they transferred from, development to J6, it was a very simple document.
Yeah.
You're buying this property this way,
Yeah.
whatever. When they sold Riverside, it included all this extra verbiage in it about drainage, ditches, roads, all this easement stuff wasn't in the J6 documents. So I'm like, okay, well, was it set up properly? Like, saying you're responsible for all this now.
Maybe, I'd have to see what exactly.
It just seems like a different way of writing it up.
But ultimately, you're not responsible for the drainage. The builder is.
Yep.
Right.
The builder's the one that's supposed to design it and grade it so that it properly drains, not onto another property owner's lot and then into the common right of way. And that sounds like that did not happen.
The J6 homes are actually a lot higher.
But in context, drainage issues are different all the way, and it may be a lot more expensive to repair that than just a street. And there may not, if this, the strategy works, there may not be the funds to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, there may be some fixes like that you could look at.
Yeah, maybe some
engineer have to really
some kind of drainage system that catches the water from the back of the school. Pushes it out to the main street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of catches it before it rolls into the neighborhood.
That's what it sounds like. I know. So it's like you're putting a Band-Aid on something. You're not addressing the source. Right.
Definitely the drainage is the problem.
And it's basically all the water from the city.
Can I make one last suggestion? Would it be worthwhile to form like a working committee? Because it sounds like you need information from them and then they would like timely information back. So if you form like a working committee, kind of have a central point.
Well, my that would be fine to start out with, but my duty is to the city and the council members, not to.
I mean, that's more.
I'm happy to provide information and y'all disclose whatever. Yeah. But maybe that's a little bit different tack we haven't really talked about.
We can do that.
What's that?
Form a committee.
Form a committee. Well, I live on Mason.
He's one of our neighbors now. This lady's on the council.
That's why zero, when I read zero, that's not an option.
Yeah.
Sorry, Riverside.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of y'all get your information to Kara, so, and then we go from there. Because he might not be able to be a part of it if he lives.
Right, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
So can they write on this?
Sure.
That's a
He probably
start.
has a lot of information.
Yeah.
If we could get that map filled out with who the builders are on each of the houses, because I mean, I've been there for months, I don't even know which builder built our house.
Riverside.
Riverside built
Yeah,
mine.
they know.
I know.
Very cool.
I don't know
That's
all of
great.
them, there's about
And
3
if we
homes.
fill
I
in
think I
that
don't
map
know.
and Kara's available, and Kara, I mean, if
Yeah,
you
we
need some
just have to
help,
get
let
it
me
together.
know to try to figure out who owns that road. Because I think there's some shenanigans there.
Yeah,
That may be,
You ought to be able to walk into a title company and say,
I know,
"Who
we
owns
could
this road?"
find it.
title
And
company
to-
may know.
And to your point, no one sends anybody a bill for a road. But if they don't have ownership listed for the road,
They may not.
that property, that land is still listed under Mr. Yin.
Probably.
And so he's getting a bill. If he's getting a bill for that road, because it hasn't been handed off because the city didn't accept it, that's his road, man.
It could be y'all's private road though. I have a property in Caddo that's a private road. We have several houses.
Right.
And we are all responsible for that road.
Right, but that's not, so our property lines, according to what their research is,
Right.
stops at the curb. That's not our road.
Somebody must be paying taxes.
And that's what I was just saying. If
We're
Mr.
paying
Yu
taxes.
tried to give this
On the
whole city a
road. On the
road,
road.
Stephen, that's what I just said,
Yeah.
it's just for you, because he's the one that tried to push it off, he's the one that
the
has it.
city said no.
So then it just has to be a harder push to find him and locate him and get him. Okay, we'll just have to fill out on the
Okay,
form, and,
we went several months ago.
I mean, if they can do that tonight, we can.
Okay.
All right, I think we need to move on. I think we got a plan of action here. Wes, we working, who you gonna be working with?
Me?
Yeah.
What are we talking
You
about?
want me to be on the committee?
Yeah. I do.
Another committee?
Another
You
committee?
know a lot about this. And,
Okay.
he's gonna give you information. Sandra, you mind helping him out?
Sure.
Okay, I think that'd be good. And then we'll need some help from the citizens over here.
Before y'all leave tonight, we'll have y'all.
Kara's gonna be the focal point. How about that?
Okay.
So we can take on that.
Three council members on it.
Okay.
Yeah, just put 2 of you on there. So, see if we can get something done. Maybe we can get some,
Nice start.
get the wheels
Thank you.
rolling. I know this has been a long time. The last time y'all dealt with it, I was gone in the hospital, so I didn't know much about it then.
Part of the reason that it fell off the hot plate is I had asked Clint, Corey was getting some quotes from some of our vendors. I had asked Clint to get a quote from his build vendor, you know, in whatever road construction company, and crickets. Didn't hear any more from him. So that's kind of where that fell off.
May I say, I just have a comment, it's an emotional comment that you can't help me with, but my husband and I drove 2,000 miles. We picked out our house and were told verbally by Dale and Clint that the road would be taken care of. And we bought a beautiful home, but now it's come to the point where I would really like to move and get out, because I don't think much is going to happen, and move to Rockwall County where my children are. So that's where I'm coming from. And maybe there's some other neighbors that want to get out.
By yourself.
And we pay our taxes and support our communities.
We don't feel like we're getting enough help. Bottom line. The situation gets worse every day, and we have to live with it. If you had to drive up down that street every day and live there, I think you'd think a little differently.
Well, there's a reason Riverside's not here.
Right, they were invited and they chose not to.
And they chose not to come.
Well, we drive up that, we drive the entire length of that road.
You can't go more than 5 miles an hour, and you have to stop basically, every little bit, just to not tear your car up.
I have to raise my car because the poles are getting deeper.
Yeah.
And I can do that with my car, the Mercedes, I can raise it, and the holes are so deep that I have to go in an angle to get down the road. And this truck, I can go, but that car, I have to raise it.
and we walk for our health. And it's a very dangerous thing to do, but there's nowhere else to walk, no sidewalks. And I'm concerned about when somebody at the end of the cul-de-sac has a health issue and a 911 call, how will they get down that road? I'm sorry?
We're gonna start, we're gonna do everything we can. We got a committee put together here, with help from the citizens here on information. And, Steve is going to be, helping out as well, with, and Kara's our new city secretary, so she's gonna be taking all the information, and we're gonna try to see where we can go and try to help y'all. We know y'all need help, but we need to move on. And the next item we need to move to is, item 13. So, item 13 is discuss and possibly act on the use of police vehicles. Chief, you have something on that?
I don't know what you're going for.
Did I put this on there?
I think we did for the fact that police cars were going home, and so now that Paul's not
He
here.
lived the farthest.
Yeah, and so that just doesn't need to happen, gas-wise, cost-wise, effective-wise, so.
The other thing was having them running at City Hall for 2 or 3 hours.
And I'm
They're
stressed
turning
out.
their vehicles
And I'm
off.
stressed out mine. If they're going to use the bathroom, we're gonna get in there and make a copy of something and go back out. And that's what
Yeah, they need to.
But longer
And then
than,
shut them off at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
so in moving forward with that, with other new hires, that's not an incentive.
While we're on this, I had, talked to Kim's a while ago, cost efficient for like fuel man. They won't do fuel man, but they will do an account for the city vehicle.
They do an account and then pay monthly.
And pay monthly at a discount, so the fuel will be cheaper than anybody else would pay for all the city vehicles.
It should be cheaper anyway.
So it'd be something to look at instead of fuel man. But the fuel man, we have to, like we have a school, like our chief school, going to Galveston, I mean, a fuel man, they ain't Kim's everywhere.
Well, right.
Well, there's an Exxon everywhere.
Right, but if Exxon's the, but that's just through the store,
That's
that's
just
their
through
personal,
Kim's.
private.
Yeah.
But, and being the competitive person I am, if Kim's offered you a deal, I would go to Robbie and say, hey, they're gonna offer this, what can you do?
No, they haven't.
And, get the best rate.
Yeah. We get our fuel at Valero, because they're the only one that.
So.
They get all of our.
We've spent almost $7,000 in gas so far from July to October.
That's just police?
That's just police.
Police?
Yeah.
And part of it is the fuel prices were up, and they're going back down a little bit, that's only because elections just happened.
So we need to be really mindful about what we're doing for having cars running and stuff like that.
Right.
Because having them running is also hard on the motors and stuff.
Right.
So we need to be pretty mindful of that.
And that's what that was.
Yeah. And that's what that agenda item was about.
Okay.
We need to have a motion or anything in the minutes for that one? What's your motion? I don't know.
No, it's just.
No action. No action. All right, so item 14, discuss and possibly act on repairs on police car unit 3.
When we had this put on there, the vehicle Paul was driving, if y'all remember 3 months ago or whatever, we had some repairs done at the dealership.
Is this the Crown Vic?
No, that's the other Charger, not the one I drive, no.
Okay.
They had a we spent $4,000 and some odd dollars, and $4,084 for the repairs on the vehicle for the injectors. I think, now that I'm looking at what I'm about to tell y'all, that they way overpriced it. They did stuff that probably didn't need to be done. But they were the only place that I could take it to at the time. Jenkins was so backed up, if we'd have went any further, we probably would have been paying for a new motor for that vehicle, which would have been a lot more than 4,000. Well, it started having an oil leak a couple weeks ago. So, we took it back to that dealership because I'm still assuming that it has something to do with what they did. So they gave me an estimate for $1,825. And I told them, you gotta be out of your mind. And they're like, well, it has nothing to do with what we did. And I said, yes, it does. And they said, no, it don't. I'm not a mechanic when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I went and got two more estimates, one from Jenkins and one from Garcia's. The one from Jenkins was $806. The one from Garcia's was $740 for what that dealership saying is wrong. That oil cooler gasket.
And those places back up the fact that it was from the initial repair.
And when I talked to both of them, I talked to the mayor, I think we decided to probably go with Garcia's as the cheapest bid. But I've also talked to Jenkins and Garcia's. When they get it up in the air, I wanna know, and I have what the dealership did on that 4,000. I want them to see what they did, and if it has anything to do with it,
Yeah, they can write it up.
I'm gonna go to higher up at the dealership, and they're gonna pay for this.
Just get there, it's a professional estimate, reason for cause or something.
But it's $1,000 difference to go to these other two. And these are the only places I want, and I think Doug, too, wants to work on this car. We want it done right. So.
Which dealership was it?
Okay.
Which dealership was it?
The one in Sulphur Springs.
Okay.
I stopped going to the one in Greenville because they tried to, I've already told somebody I'm not politically correct. They tried to screw us over before with some other vehicles, so I started going to the Sulphur Springs one. Well, because it's still a dealership, they're gonna overprice anything anyway.
Right.
But $1,000 difference, that's ridiculous.
Thank you, by the way, for going the extra step and
Well, I
potentially saving the city.
Yeah, well, they know what I do. I mean, I'll try to save where I can.
Oh, absolutely.
And just like getting the donations for the body cameras. I mean, we couldn't afford it, so I got donations to pay for it. So.
That's good. Gaskets, oil gaskets are hard to get to.
Right,
Which
and I
is the
get
big
that.
cost, but to your point, the dealership, $1,000.
Yeah, and because he was talking about taking intake gaskets off and all this other stuff, I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. But they didn't want to listen to me, so I said, okay. We're gonna go get our car.
Okay, so.
They could take our business somewhere else. So Garcia, I don't know if I think Doug, you talked. Yeah, because it's under the amount that y'all allowed the bank to make a decision. This was before we had it on the.
It was like $800 this reason why I brought it to you.
Oh, the original. Okay.
We're gonna take it to Garcia's and they're gonna look to see if it has something to do with the repairs that y'all did. And if it did, I'm gonna go higher up in there and talk to the head person.
Is Savannah driving that car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's still sitting here because during the transfer and everything, she was driving her truck back and forth, so she still hasn't come pick it up. But when it comes, me and her probably on Thursday and Friday will share my car. When she comes in, she'll get my car and I'll use it during the day. And she'll use it on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Until that time comes, we'll get it back. Look for that.
No action on that. Okay, item 15, agenda request from city council. Council members may request items be placed on a future agenda or request a special meeting. However, no discussions or actions may be taken.
So I'd like to keep the roads, for Buffalo Mesa on it, so that it's a continuation of that, until we get this resolved.
Wes, anything? All right, so It's item 15, item 16, adjourn.
I'll make a motion to